Prokes, the king of string, legendary racket technician to the pros and the regular Joes. Nobody better in the business. Welcome Roman in for a great conversation.
Today we want to talk about racket customization and what all racket customization includes. So Mr. Roman, can you just define racket customization and tell us the basics? What do people need to know about it?
Racket customization can kind of encompass a lot of different things. So a lot of times I have people who call me and say, can you customize my racket? It's a big question. So I have to ask a lot of questions because what does it mean? What do you mean by customization? Does it mean, do you want me to restring it? Or does it mean you want me to make it longer, shorter, different weight, different balance? You want me to change the handle shape? So customization could be a lot of different things. I always tell people, sometimes players who are not pros, they kind of get scared by that and they think, oh, I'm not a great player, so I don't need to customize. And I tell people, but you already do customize. When you walk into the store and there is 165 different models, you just don't grab the first one and leave.
Right.
That would be not customizing. You already start kind of pre-customizing on your own. Which racket, how does it play? You start asking questions. How much does it cost? How much does it weigh? And on and on. So you are already kind of little bit customizing what will work for me.
Makes sense.
Better. Do you get the right answer? That's a different issue. But basically, so that's the most basic thing. So what happens then? Let's say you say, oh, I like this model. New Yonex racket just came up. You said, I like that racket. So then within that model, usually they have different head sizes. So which one do you want? The bigger one, the smaller one? How do you play? Are you a better player? Or do you need to generate more pace? Or do you need to generate more racket head speed? Already these questions, we are kind of customizing the racket for you without still touching the frame. The next one, let's say we say, you know what, we like the new Yonex V-Core 98. Well, what's the next question? What's your grip size? Do you need a grip size 0 or do you need to go all the way to size 5? So another step of the customization was already done without us even touching the racket. So we picked the right manufacturer, the right model, the right frame, the right head size, the right grip size, and now what's the next step? Usually it comes to string in, and that's where it ends. With us, it continues where we can basically say, well, this racket is great, but depending on what you are looking for, we might need to adjust the weight, adjust the balance. The way it comes from the wall, it might be a bit too light. So are you looking to hit heavier ball, more spin? We need to put certain amount of weight in a certain spot. And even about the grip, a lot of times people say, well, they like leather grips because it allows for more, you feel the bevels a little bit more. So all these different things are basically a matter of so-called customizing the racket.
So can you give us, you kind of touched on the list, but what would the list of, what encompasses what you're able to do in your shop?
It's a lot of things, and it's a different things for different players. I have a gentleman, he's from DC. He sends me rackets all the time for customizing. Very good player. Hopefully we'll get him to visit over here. And, you know, he's a really big, strong person. So he likes his rackets to be really heavy. So he bought one of these new Yonex rackets that I mentioned, but obviously they don't come at the weight that he wants. So I already know he likes them heavy. He likes leather grips because he likes very, defined bevels. So based on that, we already first we changed the grip on him, and then we basically bring it to the level where he's comfortable, the weight, the balance, and the swing weight. So it changes from each model. So I always have a conversation with him. How was the last one? What is it that you are looking for this one? And so we can make this racket that comes at 305 grams. We end up making it 335 grams. It's a substantial addition into the weight of the racket. But when you go really heavy, you have to keep in mind you need to go lower balance because otherwise he wouldn't be able to get around the ball to swing the racket. So you have to really know what balance works with what weight. And then what swing weight can it be? Because if you do it too high, again, it will kind of preclude him from hitting a good ball. So all these things come into play as far as the racket. And the last one is, well, how do you want to string it? What string, what tension? Are you hitting flat? Are you hitting with more spin? Are you looking to hit with more spin? So all that comes into play.
Let's say I do an evaluation and I decide, and I've always been with a Babylon, and I decide I want to switch to Yonex. And I like the racket, but I hate the grip.
Mhm.
What can you do for me there?
That's a great question because that happens a lot. For example, especially let's say you like head rackets, they have very pronounced kind of rectangular shape handle, but you're used to it. You really like it. And now you go and you test a new Yonex and you think, oh my goodness, this is the best racket ever, but you can't use it because of the handle. Well, so I just either you tell me what is it that you are looking for, or you say, look, this is my old racket. Can you match the handle size and the shape to this one? And so we do it because we have the machinery to be able to do it and do it consistently on multiple different rackets.
And your accuracy is, how accurate are you going with that?
1,007 inch.
1,000. And I've watched
That's
you do
because of
that.
you, because you advise us what machine to. We've always, been doing it, but we had kind of a little bit older machinery where it's really in the eyes of the beholder and the person who is doing it. And did you miss by 2,000s or not? Well, now we have machines that are all computerized, so we can really bring it down to 1,007 inch.
Yeah, and I've watched you do it. I mean, it's so accurate.
And it's fun.
Well, and also I've watched you. I mean, you have the ability to build up grips, then cut them back down. So, I mean, do you want to talk about that any?
That happens a lot as well because, for example, you can say you have a racket that's a Technifiber racket. They have a very pronounced rectangular shape. Just before we started doing this, I got an email from a gentleman who said, I bought Technifiber rackets. I love them. I hate the grip shape. Can you make them the size of a Yonex, the shape of a Yonex? However, the one that he has are already Technifiber, that it's smaller than where we need to go. So we need to remove the grips completely. We need to mold a larger handle. And then we need to shave it on the machine to kind of match exactly. So it's a lot of work, a lot goes into it, but the end result is that there's going to be, hopefully, a happy player who's going to say, my 3 Technifibers that I invested in are great rackets. Now I can play with them because they are the handle shape and size that I like.
Yeah, and we talked about this on a previous podcast, but just in case somebody's watching this one and didn't watch that one, people assume that when they walk in a shop, 2 rackets are the same. They aren't the same. And so you're customizing, even if they buy 2 of the exact same 300-gram racket, you're making them identical.
Correct. That's automatic matching, that we want to make sure that when you walk away from our shop with 2 rackets, they are the same, that you can actually play with both of them and almost not know which one is which because they're both great. So we match them up. And a lot of times it could be, I just shipped today 5 rackets to New York. Yonex is well known to be very, very exact, but this gentleman wanted just a minor tweak. So we tweaked all 5 of them. So they are to the 1/10 of a gram exact weight, exact balance, exact swing weight, because he's a really good player, advanced player, and that's what he likes. So that's what we make.
Yeah, and I think what you and Miss Angelica do is very attractive to people who are detail oriented and want to know that it's done right. Right, like after you do the customization, you have a database with all the customization in it, and then when someone reaches back out for additional customization, they don't have to remind you of all they have to do is call and say, I want another one, and pretty much that's the end of it.
A lot of times it's not only that's a big part of it, but a lot of times you can tell me, we have people calling and say, remember in 2012 I bought, no, I don't remember because I dealt with, a million rackets ever since, but I'll just look up by name, by date. And we keep detailed notes even to the level of how do you like your grip wrapped? Is it a lefty? Is it a righty? Do you like grooves? Do you like bumps? So if you just tell me, I bought a racket in 2012. I really remember it was great. I can look it up and say, this is the weight, this is the balance, this is the swing weight. The models might have changed because companies change, but I can even tell you how you like your grip wrapped and what tension you did back then. So you don't have to kind of send me the sample, look for it. You say, nope, just copy what we did before.
You know, that's interesting. That's not on our list of questions, but I'm actually curious. Do you deal a lot with players who they bought a racket in 2018? That racket is no longer manufactured, so they're buying it like on eBay, and now they can't even get them on eBay. So now you're kind of helping them get something close to that. Do you have that scenario happen?
That does happen a lot. It's we can try to help. A lot of times, if somebody is really set on Aero Pro Drive from 2012, that was a great model.
I hear that all the time.
There is nothing I can do for you. Try to find the old one, because no matter what I can give you something that's gonna kind of be the most similar type of racket, but it won't be exactly the same. So we have that a lot, and we always tell people, if you really love the racket and it's like amazing, go buy 50 of them. Keep them in your basement. You know, eventually you can always sell them on eBay, so you're not gonna lose money, if, you know, in the long run. But just buy them, because you can't really duplicate it exactly.
And let's imagine though that I have one I like. I used it for years. It's not available on eBay anymore. I didn't put 50 in my basement. Would the best thing for me then, if I wanted to find something I do like, just schedule an evaluation? You probably can find something that I will like.
That's correct. That's a lot of times that's what happens. And the best way, because we can talk about it over the phone and I can make suggestions. But if you invest your time and money by coming here, again, it won't be exactly the same racket, but we might get you to the very similar result.
Got it. Got it. And so what's the most common surprise players have when they learn that their racket, actually weighs or how it's balanced?
Oh my goodness, on the professional level, there is not that many surprises, because they kind of already know what they are playing with, what they like, what they don't like. So sometimes the surprise, almost even on the pro level, might be that going lighter actually gives you more power. Kind of doesn't make sense. It sounds kind of counterintuitive, because the older coaches, they always said, well, you need more power, put more weight on it. The game has changed. You need to generate racket head speed. So making the frame lighter can actually allows you to swing faster, therefore get more spin and more power. That's what happened when we redesigned the rackets for Novak Djokovic a few years back with Andre Agassi, where we had to drop the weight kind of drastically for him to be able to do just that. A lot of times people go to the wall of tennis rackets, and they say, pick a racket that is the lightest on the wall. And they said, oh my God, that's heavy. And it has to do with the balance, because what they feel is the balance. When you go to light racket, the weight has to stay in the head, otherwise the ball would be pushing you back. So a lot of times it's almost kind of the reverse. The heavy rackets seem light to them because of the balance. And that creates a lot of surprise for them.
Are there any trends you're seeing in the balance people are using? Are they going, what I'm hearing you say is basically they're going more head light. Is that true? Or is that not true?
No, it's in general, players over the years went lighter in general. Forget about the balance right now, just lighter, because they need to generate the racket head speed. So when you go lighter, you actually need the racket to be a bit more head heavy, more weight in the head, because otherwise you would be pushed on the court.
Right.
So, but there is a limit how light you can go before, no matter how good you are, before the opponent is pushing you on the court. So it's really fine tuning the weight and the balance to the perfect match, when it's the right head lightness or head heaviness of the racket with the balance, because you can be one or the other.
So is there anything about customization you want to say that you didn't get a chance to? And we also recorded an episode about racket lengths. One of the things we didn't talk about here is how you can also customize the length of the racket, but people can go watch that one to see in such detail the options for length.
The length is a little bit tricky in a sense, because you can't go to the store and say, I want a racket that is 27.1 inches or 0.2 inches. So you really have a choice of, the standard length, which is 27 inches. And then some companies make 27 and a half. And there is a couple frames out there that are still made at 28 inches. Back in the late 90s, early 2000s, a lot of pros used to use 28-inch frame.
Right.
When the companies brought it to the public, it caused a lot of issues with kind of arm problems, tennis elbows, because back then the rackets were heavy and you make it longer, it just the players couldn't handle it. The general public couldn't handle it. So the companies went away from it. However, now with the technologies, the rackets can be lighter. So you can go back into this extra length and you can still swing it around actually. And it helps with the serve, it helps you with the power, helps you with the reach, but it's not for everyone. So you really have to pay attention. How well do you move? How are your feet?
Right.
If you don't move too well, the 28-inch racket is going to kind of jam you up a little bit. If
Yeah.
you're a great mover, you'll have no problem with that added length. That will help you.
So if I see that you have a longer racket, but you're slow to move, I'm just going to hit the ball right at you.
That is correct. Exactly. For example, with McKelvey, he just switched. It's interesting. He just got sponsored actually by Solinco, and he wanted one racket at 27 inches and two at 28 inches, which is very unusual. But it makes
What's
a lot
he
of
serving with the 28s and playing
he's,
return games with
well,
the
he's
27?
actually teaching with a 27 because he said the 28 for the regular teaching where you hit, 10,000
He doesn't want to have to
balls every
move
day.
in the lesson.
You don't want the 28
Yeah.
inch. It's too much.
Right.
But he said, look, I serve 140 on a bad day. So if I
With
have
the
a 28, but I am getting older, so I don't want to run. I don't want to move anymore. So I need to serve, and the point needs to be over. So the 28 inches helps there.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. Well, anything else from a racket customization?
Another customization is which we started a little bit doing, but one has to be very careful. A lot of times people like to change the way the racket looks. You love the racket, but it's red, and you said, I want it black. So
Oh, yeah.
the cosmetic change, I always tell people, be careful what you wish for, because the cosmetic change, a lot of times it can change the way the racket feels. It adds weight if you're adding paint. So I always tell people, be careful. However, we can do it as well.